I'm being told right now that that bond, that $500 million bond that had been set and that the former president had to deal with today, has now been reduced to $175 million. So that $465 million plus bond that he was looking at has now been reduced. As of right now, we're getting this breaking news. This appeals court allowing the former president to post a smaller bond of $175 million within 10 days.
Yes, it's a PM update on the special treatment Donald Trump has received this week. Yes, very special treatment and curious treatment. Before we look at that in great detail, let's just see what Sue Craig had to say about this. Take it away, Sue.
But it was interesting to hear the tone of his view on his cast position over the last few days. It felt like on the weekend the sky was falling. He had Eric Trump, his son, on TV, just practically screaming about how unfair this is. And then today it sounded like it was more like a parking ticket.
More like a parking ticket. Yeah, that was sort of how he did react. He was like hair on fire all weekend, sending out emails, demanding support, demanding everything. But we're going to look at some Glenn Kirshner talking about how this indicates very special treatment for Donald Trump. But before we do that, could you please hit that like button? It really helps the channel. And then subscribe. We really need subscribers. And then ringling the ding-a-ling bell so you get all the notifications about our latest videos. Now let's look at what Glenn has to say.
I think the verdict is in, Brian. I think the rules, the laws, and the Constitution apply differently to Donald Trump than they apply to you and me. Remember back when Michael Cohen was being prosecuted and ultimately imprisoned for those crimes, Donald Trump was designated individual number one, the other person in that criminal scheme, and Donald Trump has not suffered 1 minute of accountability for it. Donald Trump is an adjudicated insurrectionist. A trial court found he engaged in insurrection. A state Supreme Court affirmed that he engaged in insurrection. And even though the Constitution says plain language that an insurrectionist shall be disqualified, the Supreme Court said, but not for Donald Trump.
So yeah, that's indicating clear special treatment. As he notes in the Michael Cohen actually went to prison already, even though he committed the lesser crime that Donald Trump has yet to face. And then, of course, the fact that he is an insurrectionist is pointed out there. Let's see what else Glenn had to say. Take it away, Glenn.
I'm sorry. This reinforces what I think we have all sensed for a very long time, that the rules, the laws, and the Constitution apply differently to Donald Trump. The thing that so bothers me about this is not only the unequal application of law, but Donald Trump just days ago posted, I've got $500 million in cash. What could possibly be the rationale of the appeals court? Of course, we don't know, because they chose not to share their rationale with us, to say, you know what? We don't want to bleed you dry, Donald, right? We don't want to put you, in extreme financial circumstances. So just let us reduce it to $175 million. I mean, if that doesn't scream injustice and unequal application of the law, I don't know what does. For whatever reason, the appeals court in New York decided to treat Donald Trump differently, significantly so, even when there is no known reason to.
No known reason to. Screams injustice. Glenn Kirshner makes some excellent points there. Also, one point you might have missed is the appellate division did not offer an explanation for why they reduced the bond required. The ruling just said that they did, and it was about a page and a half, and no explanation. But Kirshner offers a possible and very chilling explanation.
The one thing that I hesitate to bring up, because it's certainly not good news, but I think we need to put it on the table. I believe this is an indication that the appeals court might have looked at Judge Engoron's judgment, the amount he came up with that Donald Trump has to disgorge or pay back, nearly $500 million. They may have a serious disagreement or concern about how he reached that amount. I think that's one of the signals that they're sending by reducing it to 175 million.
Yeah, while Trump was freaking out, maybe he was working the refs. Maybe he somehow convinced some people on that appellate division that he doesn't really owe all that money. But that just reminds us that in order to defeat Donald Trump, we can't count on the courts. They're not going to do it for us. It's going to come down to you and I getting the vote out. And that's why you should really head on over to permanentmajority.us right now. Don't wait. Donate to our channel. You can also subscribe to all of our social media there and have a lot of fun. And before you go, why don't you watch that video in the lower left-hand corner? It's an excellent one. Click on that and make today a PM day. PM in the AM, PM in the PM.